Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. So I have been an estate agent or real estate agent for my American friends since the 90s. I started in a difficult to average market as it slowly got better and better and then boomed. Experienced the 2008 crash firsthand, continued to work through the post-COVID market and are now working day to day in the current apparent falling market that the media are telling us we're in. However, I want to give you my honest take on what is actually happening firsthand from the media reports designed to grab your attention so you can make an informed decision when it comes to whether it's the right time to buy or sell. Plus, I'll be answering questions you've emailed me on what is really happening, the best time to buy, what prices have actually done, and the truth about estate agents and how it affects you, whether you're buyer or seller. So, smash that like button, subscribe, and feel free to share the video if you feel it might help someone you know. So let's get into it. So in March this year, the Office for Budget Responsibility, which advises the government on the health of the economy, predicted that house prices will drop by 10% over the next 2 years. Now that would be about half the fall of the financial crisis of 2008 and will put prices back to roughly autumn 2021 levels. However, Nationwide have recently reported annual property values declined by 3.8%, whereas Zoopla are telling you UK house prices have risen 0.6% in the last year and have predicted just 5% house price falls in 2023, adding that more expensive areas, such as the south of England, are likely to feel the worst of the house price falls. They also invite you to track your home to see if your house price is falling or rising. Now, why you would actually want to do this, I don't know if you're not selling, but more on this later on. So, some so-called experts are apparently hoping for a soft landing, which they believe could mean interest rates are nearing their peak, with small price falls in the last 2 quarters of 2023 and then stagnant market growth next year. So what is actually happening? Well, just so you know, in the UK, about 100,000 households come off a fixed price mortgage every single month. Now, during the boom we've just experienced, I had a multitude of buyers and sellers with huge budgets buying at their absolute limit, with at the time ludicrously unsustainable low mortgage rates being offered by lenders, mixed with buying advice, in my opinion, from the wrong people. Now, many of these clients, when I tried to genuinely help and advise sensibly, as I personally believe a decent agent has a duty of care, not just to the vendor he's selling for, but also in part to his buyers, argued with me that they didn't want to take a 5-year fixed rate mortgage as it was, let's say, £32 a month more than fixing it for 2 years. They needed a huge house they were buying for their first home when it's just the two of them and a spaniel. And fast forward now, and those same people are now experiencing the cost of lifestyle inflation, energy bill increases, Marmite costing £27 a jar, and their mortgage increasing, for example, not 2 but by something like £650 a month. Now, most of those buying in a rush and panic were worried about the house prices going up or down. They didn't factor in the fact that the house price, once purchased, could potentially cost them double a month just 2 years later. So to put things in perspective, when was the last time house prices crashed? Well, the last housing market crash was approximately around 2008. Things were so bad, most people just couldn't get a mortgage even if they wanted one. And things currently are not that bad. House prices dropped by around 20% during the 2008 financial crisis, putting a £300,000 house back to roughly about 240 on average, and properties still sold, life went on. Now, bear in mind also the worst housing market crash in the UK was during the Great Depression of the 20s, with house prices dropping by up to 75%. So let's get things in perspective. Things are definitely not this bad. Also bear in mind 100% mortgages are still available. The average mortgage pre-COVID between 95 and 22 in the UK was 5.62%. While historical highs and lows of the mortgage interest rates have fluctuated wildly, most short-term changes do not impact mortgage borrowers since most are on a fixed-term mortgage. Now, the average mortgage rate at the time of this video sits at 6.3%. So what's really happening out there? Well, for the agents that work hard, in my opinion, irrespective of market conditions, we've gone from the best market I've ever worked in last year, quite simply, to back to normal. You have to work, pick up the phone, and the market is there. For those agents that run businesses on just photographing houses, putting them online and crossing their fingers, the perception is going to be that we're in a recession. So now I'm sure most of you have seen the film The Wolf of Wall Street, right? So trying to remember a scene where you weren't staring at Margot Robbie, and think of the one where they're coming up with their plan to quote unquote offload the dog shit. Well, that is the market we had up to about September, October last year. Buyer levels were through the roof, and the bottom line was there wasn't a shortage of property. It's just where every house would normally have 3 to 4 people viewing it, it now on average had about 18. 5 would offer the asking price, and then the offer would go to best and finals. In most cases, everyone suddenly wanted a study, space for a Peloton bike, dogs quadrupled in value, and houses were selling for prices you could not predict. Now, as it continued month by month, people were becoming so fed up with being outbid, they just wanted to buy something, to spend that money before they missed out. And that's when even the dated, horrible, backing onto a railway track, overpriced dog shit property was selling for hot money as well. But now, now the value of money has come back. Houses are taking longer to sell. Demand is still there, but immediately proceedable buyers have lessened and caution is making people wait. Now, in my opinion, a house should never be looked at as an investment. I've always worked this way. The house is worth what someone is willing to pay in any market. Estate agents are not valuers. There's too much ego in our industry, and contrary to what most agents think, our job is not to be right. We are marketing companies. You are buying into our client bank and experience, and it is the lifestyle we're selling, and to some extent ourselves. Now, the truth is the variables we use to put figures on properties are nothing more in most cases than mathematical, and quite simply, most people buy on emotion. Last year at the peak, if we take a property on it, let's say £450,000, on average with the demand that was there, they would end up selling for around 490. Now that same house would now, in this market, still be marketed at probably around 450, or to achieve thereabouts or 440, make an actual difference or drop of about 8.5%. The problem is, without knowing a decent agent you can trust, and unless you are following each individual address to wait the 6 months minimum for its final selling price to appear online, you're seeing 450 last year online and 450 this year, both go to sold, which makes people panic. It doesn't tally with media reports, and you end up doing the worst thing you can do, which is nothing. So what will most probably happen is this: good houses in good condition will continue to sell for strong money. I've just had a 2-bedroom home with a garage this week offered at 240, go for best and final offers that sell at 245. Now, with huge amounts of the country living paycheck to paycheck, very few having savings, the drops will now be more on the houses needing work, and deals will be found here. Some may find their new monthly payments unaffordable, making them more likely to sell, possibly pushing prices down as well. The truth is, no one knows. It's speculation and presumption. People tell you what you want to hear. The truth is, most agents want the path of least resistance to their fee. So, when is the best time to buy or sell? Quite simply, is when it is best for you. Your relationship good? Job's okay as it can be? You really need the move or the space and it's affordable? Then do it. You have to look at the long term. It's your home, and like I've said, not an investment. The days of our parents buying homes for $9,000 that end up being worth $650,000 are gone. But what is affordable? Fix your mortgage and make it a home. Do you walk out of the door each morning, lock the door and think, oh dear, my house just dropped £900? No. Will it drop next year? Maybe, but you're not selling it. And if you do, the prices of what you buy above or below would have changed at the same levels. It's all relative. If you feel you might have a job move on the horizon, then rent and stay liquid so you're not at the mercy of markets and the property taking too long to sell. What do we talk about all the time on this channel? Time in the market, not timing. Quite simply, the slowing in the property market is a shift towards a more balanced supply and demand. Last year, I was sat in my office with 6 houses left on the books, worrying how I was going to pay the bills the next month, which isn't normal. This year, right now, I'm sat around 30, which is quite simply normal. So do your research, reach out to me if you need anything. Don't buy at your limit. Find an agent that knows their stuff, comes recommended, and you feel you can trust. Buy or sell when it's right for you. Look at the long term, and never try to time the market or buy as an investment if it's going to be your home. Guys, I've got your backs. Ignore the noise. I'll see you soon, and have a great week. Take care.